So now that our server is up and running, let's start processing the form. I mean, let's try sending the form from front end to back end. So we go back to our front end folder, open our source, open the admin folder. We can see register JSX. So we open that. I'm going to close down this a bit so I can have more space right here. So right inside my handle submit form, I need to put my try and catch block. So try and catch like this. So right inside here, I'll select response because I need to make a HTTP request to the server. Let response equals to await. What are we awaiting for? We are waiting for Asios, and we are sending something over to the server. That's why we are making use of posts. So you put your semicolon here. So right inside this post is going to take two things. First is going to take your backend address and then what you are sending over to the backend. Now let's get our backend URL. So my backend URL happens to be this. So I'm just going to copy this as it is, come down to this post, put either single or double quotes, we'll paste like this. Now after which we then put what we are sending over, which in this case is form data. So pass form data. Now where is the form data coming from? The form data is coming from our state. It's coming from this state over here. So form data is just an object that has name property, email property, password, and the confirm password. So now I've sent it over to this particular place. Now what I'm going to do next is to provide an endpoint. Now I'm going to come right here and then provide an endpoint. Now my endpoint, which I'm going to do later, should be API slash admin slash register like this. So I'm breaking things down. I'm breaking things down so I don't get confused along the line. So I can also come down here and log something to the console. I can say console.log response dot data this way. So let's get rid of these errors here. We could just say console.log registration field. Now that is good. Okay, so now let's go back to the server and then create a file inside our controller, because the content of this controller will be the logics and that of the routes will just be the routes. So now let's make a simple logic here. So first let's create a file. I'll call it auth.js. Now inside here I will make a function export const register admin equals to an asynchronous function that has our request and response objects. So I could just say console.log requests.body this way. Now having done this, I now need to route this function to a file inside my routes folder. So let's make a file. I'm going to call it same name auth.js. Now inside this file, I need to tap into Express to get a router level middleware provided by Express. So I could just say import Express, import Express from Express. I can say const router equals to express dot router, and I will now import the function I made in my controller. The function I made in my controller, I just imported it over there on that line, and I will now say router dot post this way. Now remember the endpoint I added in my register JSX. The last endpoint happens to be register. So let's not forget that. So we'll say slash register. So when we hit this route, trigger our register admin function this way. So at the end of the day, we export the router. So this router, now let's import it into our entry point. So I'll come back to my entry point and import. I will say import admin auth. So let's just call it admin auth from routes slash auth.js. Now we come over here to mount it. So we'll now mount it as app.use API slash admin. Now this must tally with whatsoever thing you have at this point. Now this is the endpoint for the our entry point, which is our server file API slash admin, and that is what we have over here. And then this last part, which is slash register, is that of the routes. All right. Now if we go to the server, if we should go to our file and then try to try to register an admin, we should be able to see those information at our console here. So let's just give it a go. So I fill in this as the password and this, and we hit on register. So we go back to the terminal, you could see those information.